It's WagerTalk's last call, Christmas edition. I'm the prep queen, Ariel Epstein. Make sure to thank your fellow Jews and fellow Jewish coworkers and friends for filling in today because we do not celebrate Christmas. That's why I'm here today to help out. And so is Prez. Prez is going to be joining the show in just a little bit, giving us his NFL insights. Steve Merril, kind enough to join us on this Christmas and give us his favorite plays of the day going into the slate. We've got NFL, we've got NBA. I'm really pumped because I'm excited to sit here in pajamas at my parents' house, watch football all day, and of course, I'll throw the Knicks on in about an hour. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. Happy holidays if you celebrate something different. Let's bring on my co-Jew himself, Prez. Merry Christmas to us Jews.
Yes, how are you, Ariel? Listen, I love Christmas. I think it's beautiful. It is white out where I am. And we're celebrating Jesus, which makes me happy as he's part of my tribe.
Did you have Chinese food last night?
I had, what did I eat last night? Nothing special. I had 3 teeth removed 2 days ago. Yeah. So
that's not good. You do
it's
it okay?
called aging. Carmine in the chat room. Carm,
hi,
nice
Carm.
To see you. Carm, send us some bets if you want. Steve Merril joining us after 3 games today, Ariel. Which one are you most excited about?
Probably the Lions game, because at least they have to play for something. They have to win in order to stay alive for the playoffs, and they need the Packers to lose out.
Yeah, Tyrone Boyd writes that you're a lot prettier than Santa.
What about Mrs. Claus?
Well, just for the record, you're not prettier than Santa if you're into male bears.
True.
Yeah. So
I got a Merry Christmas from Kelly's boyfriend, Brett, this morning. And I said, well, Santa didn't send my husband down the chimney, so we'll have to wait till next year.
Yeah, you're going to have to do all the heavy lifting on the husband equation.
Yeah, I know. You've tried to help. But let's start with the first game, Prez, because we've got a game coming up 1 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. So many large spreads today. Everyone's laying at least a touchdown. Cowboys, this line actually did move. I saw the Cowboys Sunday at -5.5, then it crept up to 6.5, 7.5. Now we're sitting at Cowboys laying 8.5, high total 50.5. I mean, at this point, 8.5 for a meaningless game, isn't that too much?
You know, I'll tell you firstly, Ariel, let me start by saying that there are actually 9.5s out there as well. So it is absolutely all over the map. Anapola, there's some books that have it. There's at 110 out there. 2 10s out there. So the money is pouring in on Dallas right now. And I think it is too much, Ariel. I think the right play here is the dog. And, you know, somebody said to me, well, who's the most incentivized team on the field right now? You know, prime time. It's not prime time, but it's a standalone game on television. Everyone is going to be watching. Who has the most interest in winning this game? If you had to isolate it down to one single person, it would be the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. That quarterback might never play another football game again for the rest of his life. This might be the one and only. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he is some kind of amazing quarterback, but there's only one person incentivized to put their life on the line today, and that's him. Josh is his name. Josh Johnson. I got to look at the dog here, and I'll tell you, Ariel, I think this Washington Redskins defense is better than most people think, and I think that they played hard last week. I think they're going to play hard this week as well. And the one thing about the Dallas offense is it's either in sync or out of sync, and if it's out of sync, they can lose this game outright. They tend to turn the ball over. Dak can overthrow and underthrow quarterbacks all day long. I would take
Dallas defense stinks.
Dallas defense, yes, exactly. And it's going to be in shitty weather on a shitty field. I don't see how anyone could take a Dallas here, to be honest with you. I think that's just a bad bet. And one thing we know about the NFC East, and we go back to the Joe Theismann days, Doug Williams days. I mean, take the points when these teams match up against each other. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if a no-name is playing Troy Aikman for the Giants. these games are close.
And the totals also, what stands out in meaningless games, you're going to see defenses that, first off, these two defenses have been struggling anyway this year. Washington's bad against the run. Dallas is bad against the pass. I know it's high at 50.5. It could be higher. Meaningless games tend to mean meaningless defense.
Yeah, that's true. But it also means more going for it on fourth downs in a weird position, 4th and 6 from the 43. And then it becomes, are they going to get it or aren't they going to get it, which will dictate, ultimately whether this game goes over or under. I actually think this total is too high myself. I just feel like the field is going to come into play. The weather is going to come into play. And how many points is Washington going to put up here?
That's true, with Josh Johnson under center. But again, could be a close game, divisional matchup, two coaches that know each other. And again, this number started at 5.5. 8.5 is way too much for me to lay in a game that's meaningless. That's why the next game is the most intriguing to me, because the Lions, they went from being 5.5-point favorites on the road in Minnesota to now laying a touchdown and a half. That total's been dropping, though, 45.5 to 43.5. As much as Detroit's chances of making the playoffs are slim, they still are alive. Detroit has to win out. Green Bay has to lose. They have no clue what Green Bay is going to do yet because they don't play until Saturday. So Detroit has to try to play this game. Meaningless for Minnesota, still a divisional spot where a divisional team can try to essentially eliminate their divisional rivals in the Lions. Is this one too much, laying a touchdown and a half with Detroit?
I'll tell you in a sec. Let me just answer Anthony's question. There's no bad weather in the game, Prez. I guess we define bad weather differently, Ariel. I would say freezing cold is bad weather. Clearly Anthony doesn't, but I'm going out on a limb and I'm going to say that most people from Dallas showing up to Washington for a single day will have a cool runnings moment when the doors of that airport open. So it's going to be cold. I consider that bad weather. As for Detroit and Minnesota, look, we're in the same boat here, okay? We've got a quarterback who might never play again, who's going to give it his all in Minnesota. Can we count on Detroit in a must-win game? Well, we couldn't last week.
No.
We couldn't the week before. And clearly, Dan Campbell is doing everything in his power to get a high draft pick because he likes to go for it on fourth downs from the 40 against Green Bay for no reason whatsoever. And then he thinks it's a wise plan to call a pick play, 1st and goal from the 2-yard line with his entire season on the line. So I am very unimpressed with Dan Campbell right now. I think that ultimately one might find that they kept the wrong coach. So no, I am not loving Detroit in this spot. And why should I? And I'll tell you something. This Minnesota team is going to come out to play. This is a division game. They'll want to see Detroit win. Not that they want to see Green Bay or Chicago win, but they only have Detroit in front of them. I think we're getting 7. I'm interested in taking it. And I also don't understand the line move to the under here. I want to tell you something real quick, Ariel. This game, they played each other 7 games ago. The total was 51. J.J. McCarthy played. He completed 14 passes. What's the over and under on Bosmer pass completions?
Oh, I have attempts 29.5, pass yards 174.5. Let me get
right. So basically, they expect him to do better than what J.J. McCarthy did in the first matchup.
Frostmer's at 17.5.
Exactly. So the last time they played each other, Minnesota was able to put up 24 points.
And Detroit's secondary has been struggling. They allowed the 3rd most receiving yards per game to wide receivers, 8th most passing yards to quarterbacks. It's not a good secondary.
Yeah. And their coach is unbelievable. Minnesota's coach finds a way to get the best out.
Shawn Michael is not happy that you are fading his Lions.
Who's Shawn Michael?
He's in the chat.
Yeah, he's listening to me. I'm not listening to him. I'm just kidding, Sean. And if it means anything, I'm not like fully fading. I'm a Lions fan. Like, that's the team I cheer for, okay? Just to let that out, I cheer for the Lions.
You probably should move that Packers helmet that's sitting right there in our eye vision.
Okay, what do you want me to put instead?
A Lions helmet.
I don't have one. Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's worse for me. Now you're just taunting my Ravens fandom.
But I do have a Commanders one and a Dallas one.
You need a Lions one if you root for the Lions.
Yeah, well, I'm only new to the Lions. So I grew up a Dallas fan.
Oh, you jumped ship.
Yeah, and now I cheer it with the Lions and I cheer it with Josh Allen. So I don't cheer it with the Buffalo Bills. Very important. I cheer it with Josh Allen.
Okay.
So yeah, Ariel hates the Packers and the Steelers.
I don't hate the Packers. I hate the Steelers.
Yeah.
I also hate the Lions now because they couldn't beat the Steelers. So thank you very much, Sean.
Well, you hate the Steelers because you're a Baltimore Ravens fan. But I will tell you something. I have been to Pittsburgh once, and I think it is one of the most underrated cities on the East Coast.
Yeah.
It is spectacular.
I'm a
huge fan.
I need to see the baseball stadium. It's
amazing. All of Pittsburgh is amazing. I was as a Toronto guy, you hear, oh, it's the Steel City. So we have a Steel City called Hamilton right by us, and it's not amazing. So I thought driving into Pittsburgh that it would be this like gross sort of industrial town.
But it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, one of the best
cities. So you're gonna take the points with Minnesota.
Yeah, I think the points with Minnesota is the right way to play. I do think that Detroit might be a good bet in the first quarter. I think they're going to come out lying here because of that bad taste they have in their mouth from last week. So, yeah, I like Detroit in this spot. I like Washington. And, yeah, we got Steve Merril coming up afterwards as well. He'll give his thoughts out on this. We got Denver and Kansas City.
I've got a stat for you. You tell me your reaction, okay? Kelly in Vegas, our very own from here at WagerTalk, Kelly in Vegas sent me this stat. Reminder, everyone, she is a Broncos fan. The Broncos are 2-8 against the spread as favorites this year. 78% of money is on the Broncos to cover on Christmas. What could go wrong?
Yeah, a lot. This is a really good defense in Kansas City, and they're not going to lay down and die. And
but they did last week.
You know, that's a fair point. I don't think they lay down and die here. This is a game. Yeah, this is a home game, a division game. There's a 14 out there, which is crazy to me. And Ariel, what's most interesting about this game, and these are one of those absolutely rare things, is you've got a total that is almost double the point spread. So you've got a minus 13.5, minus 14, and a total of 37. They are assuming Kansas City doesn't get 10 points in this game.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting statistic. I would suggest betting the dog and the over in this game, because normally when that happens, that's a minimum of 1-1 with a real outside shot of 2-0. We got one of our listeners. Thanks for doing this, guys. Broncos 31-6. I don't see that happening. And one thing about the Broncos, Ariel, and I don't have a data point for this, they play to their competition. You know, if they're playing Detroit in Detroit, they'll play a 40-39 game. If they play Kansas City in Kansas City without a quarterback, they'll play a 9-10 game. They will play at whatever pace their opponent is playing to. They will put up whatever amount of points they need just to win. If they need
that's what Kelly's concern is even though every part of you as a Denver Broncos fan wants to go in and absolutely dominate in Kansas City, it's like, well, Patrick Mahomes isn't your quarterback. This team's eliminated. Do you really feel that sense of we destroyed you if that's all out of the equation? Or do you just go in, try not to get hurt? Because the Broncos, they just need to win and they need the Chargers to lose on Saturday to win the division.
Yeah.
They need a lot more to happen to win the 1 seed, but that's still live. They just need to win the Broncos.
Yeah, it's a get out of Dodge kind of a game, right? Win this game, win it, by just don't get injured. And injuries now are a big thing. And look at what happened last week. Look at the games we're talking about earlier. Dak is injured. He's playing, but he's not 100. Washington quarterback's injured. 2 of them. Minnesota, 2 of them.
Are you handicapping these games thinking, like, for example, Dak Prescott's going to play the whole game, or are you a little bit worried that he might get taken out?
Well, given that I like Washington,
right.
I'm handicapping the game assuming he's going to play to the end.
Okay.
Bonus if he gets taken out.
Of course.
Tyrone Boyd writes, Prez just described the Broncos' whole season. And that is exactly my point, Tyrone, that is the Broncos' whole season. They play Vegas, they win by what, 2? Mm-hmm. They play, Jacksonville, they lose. This team is a strange team, this Bronco team. But hey, and Bo Nix too, right? One of those guys inside of one game, he's the best and the worst.
Yeah, it's all just a big question mark because we don't have much of a sample size of the Kansas City quarterback, Chris Olajikon, who we saw him, maybe a half a game last week after Gardner Minshew tore his ACL. One big note, though, Travis Kelce. I'm not like a big Taylor Swift person, but obviously the public eye is on Travis Kelce. And if he's retiring, if Travis Kelce is retiring, this is his last home game, which could make the team want to play for him. He is team leader, one of the best tight ends. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Maybe the team does care to get Kelce his last home win.
I don't think that's going to be factored into this equation. I just don't think he has a quarterback that's going to be getting him the ball. So
it's hard. It's hard to know. We don't know what he looks like. We have no idea. Yeah. Aside for last game,
But I'm definitely not taking that into account. Ariel, Steve Merril is wearing a great shirt. We're going to bring him in a second.
Let's let Steve Merril come on the show. Thanks so much, Prez.
I'm going to let everybody know real quick because I'm in the middle of one of these massive runs right now. So I do want to just quickly mention, and then I'll bring the handsome Steve Merril. 2 Jews and Steve Merril handling a show on Christmas Day. I am on a 15-3 NFL totals run. 15 wins, 3 losses. I'm on a 24-7 totals run altogether. I have 2 total bets up for today. You guys can head over to WagerTalk and grab that. I want to give everybody a lot of love right now. Like all of these guys that are in the chat group, we have 2,000 of us right now. You guys have an incredible day today. And the same thing that I said on Thanksgiving, it is way more important to spend time with your family and loved ones than it is to be watching football today. Do not let these games get you down if you're losing. Seriously, bet what you can afford to lose. The day is about love, laughter, and happiness, not football. So on that note, thank you for having me today, guys. Steve Merril, everybody.
Thanks, Prez. Whoa! Steve Merril is ready to go for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Steve.
Santa. I know him.
I know him. I say that every time I see Santa.
So, Ariel, one of our great viewers in one of my videos last week said Steve Merril. Steve Farrell, Will Merrill. And I had never noticed over the last 5 years of all the comparisons that Merrill and how did that slip that it rhymes? It really
amazing.
Is incredible to me that I did not make that connection sooner.
Yeah,
and actually, if you go to my X feed at Steve Merril,
I love it.
Great tweet last night. Somebody put me on the Elf body. I should have sent it over to Prez to pop up here on the show. But yeah, never realized that Merrill and Farrell rhymed until 2 days ago, which kind of concerns me that it took all of us that long to make that connection. But that's
why
we love our viewers.
It took us seeing you in a Santa shirt for that to happen. I no one's been able to answer this question for me though, Steve. I said to Kelly, I said to Prez, are we talking NBA or are we just talking NFL with you?
We're talking both because I cover both, as you know. And I was going to say, I know the President's a huge NBA guy, so I definitely will talk about the NFL. But yeah, we'll run down the NBA because I know you and I look at some NBA.
Absolutely. And we've got the first game of the day because we've got the Knicks and I know Sean Michael broke it to the chat. Good job, Sean Michael. Evan Mobley will be playing today for the Cavs. We're going to have Jalen Brunson on the floor for the Knicks as well. Knicks laying 5 at home at the Garden at noon, total 241.5. That is a high total. Damn.
Yeah, hey, Knicks can score, right? They're always known as they're a good defensive team, but they can score. And the key, of course, is if Jalen Brunson is playing. Perhaps my favorite NBA player. I know you'll love to hear that. I've always liked Brunson for years. When he became a Knick a few years ago, I said after that second season, I go, he's the most underrated NBA player in the league. I don't think I can quite say that any longer, but you know what I mean. I mean, for years, nobody was talking about him, and he routinely put up 30.
All it takes is being sent to New York, Steve.
Yes. Well, Cleveland's not looking as dominant. We'll talk about them a little bit here as well. Cleveland's not a team that's looking as dominant as everybody thought. This is a team that was projected to be the favorite in the East, maybe along with the Knicks. They're just 17-14 here on the season. I talked about this the other day when I broke down the Monday wager talk today. We talked about the Cleveland Cavalier game. And, I mentioned that they've been a terrible point spread team. Obviously, when you're 17-14 and you're faltering a bit, you're not going to be a good point spread team. And that was against Charlotte that night. And they once again failed to cover, but they did snap the 3-game losing streak. Did cover and win against New Orleans on Wednesday. I don't know if that's the buy sign. They finally got a 22-point win. But to put this in perspective, they've still gone just 1-6 against the spread their last 7. If you go back even further, they've gone just 3-10, 3-11 actually their last 14 against the number. We'll see if that's the turning point or not. Tough call here, laying the points against a good Cleveland team that's finally as a dog. Because keep in mind, a lot of those non-coverages come as a favorite. If you're going to play this one, though, I think I'd rather probably be on the Knicks. I feel they're the better team. And if Brunson's in the lineup, it's go time. And this line opened 2.5. Now that it's certain he's going to play, it's 5.5. It shows you he is a key player. By the way, the over-under, Ariel, when he missed the other night was 229.5 for this game. It's now 241.5. So we're talking about almost a 12-point difference in the projected over-under. Like you said, it's a pretty high total now. Biggest total on the board of the 5 games. And as I always like to say, the highest totals usually go over.
Yeah, well, if you saw that last year at a 240 against the Cavs with the Knicks, you would have been like, what the hell? That is crazy. Craig Abel wants to know, Mavericks getting 8 points, good bet versus the Warriors, agree or disagree?
Dallas has an unbelievable MG list. I'm looking at it right now. They've got 9. They actually, I think it's 10 guys that are on the list right now, but half of them are listed as probable, but literally their entire lineup is either probable, questionable, doubtful. So they are really banged up. Steph Curry is out. So that's a huge thing in this game, obviously. And you can be missing all the key guys on Dallas or have them all banged up. And when you don't have Steph Curry, that's a concern. Yet the line has gone from 4 up to 8.5. I don't quite get that because I'm checking the injury report as of 8 minutes ago, and it's got Seth Curry out. I was going to say, I didn't think Steph Curry was out. I misread that. Seth Curry. You can see I'm not using this game. This is the game I scratched from my list. So I hadn't dug into much. Seth Curry, I was just going to say, in what world do the Warriors go to 4 to -8 with Steph? Yeah. Seth Curry. How dare they put his useless brother? That's like Will Merrill.
Brothers. If you don't think the NBA has some kind of system with just appeasing the stars, Giannis, Steph, LeBron, of course they do. They're all family members on the team. But you're saying, just to answer Craig Abel's question, Mavs +8, you don't think it's a good play?
Well, no, I don't necessarily. I don't have a strong opinion on this one. The Mavs have dropped 3 of their last 5 straight up against the spread, or 2 of their last 5 they've covered in 1 against Detroit, and it's an impressive win, obviously, and against Denver. And then you look at their 3 losses. By the way, both those wins were +6 dogs. Their 3 losses during that span were all pick'em games. So they have played up to their competition. The Warriors, nothing special. They've covered just 1 of their last 5. So now that this line has gone from 4 up to 8.5, there actually might be some value with the Mavs. Another game which we see the total bump up higher because key players are in from 226 up to 229.5, 230. I'd probably lean a little bit to the under at this point, but no, I would not disagree with Dallas +8.5. They've been a feisty underdog.
Are you going to play the other game, which is the Spurs Thunder game, which is a 9.5, or are you going to just try to focus on the games that are a little bit closer?
So I did a show with Joe Ranieri. I filled in for Prez Tuesday on their show, and there's a ton of NBA games. And one thing I did say on that show, so I'm glad we get to talk about it now, is that did not have a play on the Tuesday game between these 2 squads in San Antonio. But I told Joe, I go, look and watch the results here. It could set up a good playoff style zigzag, home and home revenge spot. And I'll be honest here, I think we probably got the result we wanted for that to set up. Because, if San Antonio got blown out at home, you could say, well, maybe they bounce back, but now it's on the road against the best team in the NBA. We got the opposite of that. We got the Spurs blowing out the best team in the NBA. The Spurs won by 30 as a 6.5-point home dog on Tuesday night. So now we're getting to play the best team in the NBA off a blowout loss back at home. That'd be the only way I would attack this one. This is an angle I love to use in the playoffs in those 7-game series. A quality Class A team off a blowout loss. And I think this is a very similar situation here. And the reason it was a blowout loss is both teams shot lights out. Oklahoma City shot 54% from the field. I mean, nothing's broken there. Scored 110 points. What was broken was the defense. They gave up 130 and 57% shooting. That is not something the best defense does in the NBA. I don't think anything is wrong with the team. I don't think anything is broken all of a sudden after Tuesday night. I look for a lockdown defensive effort. So I definitely like the under for that reason. This total opened 228. It's up to 233. You can zigzag the side. You can zigzag the total. You can choose both of them. Whatever you want. I would be on the Thunder and the under in this one. Hey, that rhymes at 2:40 Eastern.
We're just filled with rhyming today. And I found, my group chat with Kelly and Chris Thurston where it's going off about more games today than it was confusing me. I also have my theory, Steve, about the NBA Cup because the runner-ups to the Cup Finals have actually done better than the winner of the Cup Finals the last 2 years. So You saw the Pacers go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You saw the Thunder win last year. And this year, maybe it's the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe, just maybe. But we've got some closer spreads. The late games tonight, both 2.5-point spreads. Lakers catching 2.5 against the really tough, big Houston Rockets. And then the T-Wolves, they're catching 2.5 on the road in Denver. What do you see out of those two games?
Yeah, so we'll check the lines first on these. We've seen another a game move, but this one's actually been the opposite direction. Denver was as high as 4.5 on the opener. And keep in mind, these openers have been out for weeks, projected lines. Yeah. So when I talk about the totals moving 12 points, it's not just from the other night necessarily, but from what maybe, kind of like we talked about with the NFL lines from the summer looking ahead. So one unique thing about these Christmas NBA games is we do have lines from several weeks ago, even a month ago, and we can say how these teams look different. And like that Cleveland-New York total is 12.5 points higher because they have been playing higher scoring games than expected this season. Denver was initially projected to be about a 4.5-point favorite in this game. Total 230. Total is now 239.5. So another one we've seen a heavier move to the over. In fact, every one of these games today, we have seen the line go at least several baskets higher than the projection a month or two ago on the total. So that's something that I found interesting as well. Denver only a 2-point home favorite, though. I've actually felt like Denver's played better at times this year than expected. Last year they kind of sleptwalked through the season. They're not necessarily doing that this year at 21-8. Minnesota 20-10. These are two of the best teams in the league. This should be a really good nightcap as well. As far as the injury report in this one, pretty clean. Last time I checked, Aaron Gordon out. It's really the only big name I would say that's on either side. As far as the matchup here, Denver at home, thin air and altitude is always something that makes my short list. And Minnesota is coming off some tough games. They had to play OKC, Milwaukee, New York Knicks, 3 straight big wins in a row. And now you get the Nuggets back at home off a loss on Tuesday at Dallas, and they've dropped 2 of their last 3. Might be a decent spot for Denver here to bounce back at home against 2 teams that I rate pretty equal. Denver beat them on the road a month ago also as a slight favorite, if you recall, back in November. And they also beat them in late October. So they've had the T-Wolves numbers so far this season. They were favored in both road games. This is a better Minnesota squad, a healthier squad now. But I think Denver matches up well in this one. As far as the other game, the 8 o'clock Eastern game, Houston and the LA Lakers. Lakers are projected to be about a 1-point favorite a few months ago. Now they're a 2.5-point home dog. And this is a situation where Houston, I think, along with Minnesota and Denver, if someone's going to give the Oklahoma City Thunder a run, and that's a big if, it's going to probably be Houston, Denver, Minnesota. We're going to see all the competition tonight. Luka, of course, injured recently. He is listed as questionable. I don't think he's fully healthy. Maybe he tries to give it a go. We've seen him have some monster Christmas games before, but a lot of uncertainty for me in that one, Ariel, and maybe a better in-game opportunity, right? If we see if Luka goes, if we see how he looks. If he doesn't look right the first couple minutes of the game, you might get a really good price by jumping in on Houston then as a small favorite and have more confidence in that play.
I love the Houston Rockets. I just love how big they are. They remind me of like Texas A&M a few years ago in March Madness when it was like, damn, I don't know if they'll win it all, but they're big and they are really tough to go up against
They've
inside.
dropped 4 of their last 5 games, by the way, straight up, and they've gone just 1-6 against the spread the last 7. Normally not the
They
type of team
started
I'd
out
say.
hot. It had to
Right.
come. The regression was coming.
Well, that's the thing is you normally say, don't lay points with a team like that. But if Luka is not healthy, it's really hard for me to back the Lakers right now. I think this is one of those games, you'd be better off playing in game and just seeing how it starts off.
I like that. I like that idea a lot, especially with this NBA.
Right.
At least they changed the rules, Steve. At least they changed the rules, and they have to tell us about some of the injuries. Real quick, NFL, 3 games. It feels like a few people I've spoken to already. Very high on dogs. How much do you agree with dogs being the play today?
So I did my Thursday video back on Monday, and the quarterbacks were questionable for all 3 underdogs, but I kind of thought who I knew they would be, and it turned out I was right. So that video is still up here on WagerTalk TV. We got 45,000 views last Thursday night for the easy over. Yeah, well, the Seahawks Rams, I gave the over, so that brought the prime record to 13-3 this year. But to be technical, I did do the Friday prime game, and that missed over Thanksgiving. So the Friday prime Thursday games are 13-2. I think we're at about 35,000 views. Let's get over 45,000 again. We got plenty of time.
You're crushing it.
I invite everyone to go watch that video here after the show. But yeah, all 3, and I said this would probably happen. It's official now. All 3 underdogs are using third-string quarterbacks here on Christmas Day. Roger Goodell got the lump of coal that he deserves, and the NFL did not get the matchups they had hoped. Now, in their defense, this schedule was made back in May, and there's some talk about doing a flex schedule. And I was like, that's a good idea, but, the short travel, just 3 days for teams is tricky. But then, Ariel, I heard the best reason against it is for the fans, because think about it. You probably are making plans in Kansas City not to travel for the holidays when you see the schedule, right? So I think it's very difficult to flex out of these games in the future. I thought that was an interesting topic. As far as the dogs go, the official prime game, if I'm putting the 13-2 Thursday prime record on the line, is the late game between Denver and KC. And I lean towards the Chiefs in the video. And I did say, I think Prez said Chiefs and over are correlated. I disagree with that. I actually mentioned in the video, I think Chiefs and under are correlated, right? I mean, if Kansas City can't score, Denver's a good defense and mediocre offense. If it stays low scoring under 37, that gives the big dog a better chance of covering. And by the way, when I did this video Monday, it was 36.5. 37 is a very key number, about a 4 to 5% chance a game lands on 37. We now see 37s, 37.5s, some 36.5 still out there. So if you play the under, you really got to get a 37, in my opinion. It's a key number. I'm leaning towards the Chiefs. I'm starting to talk myself into liking it a little bit more. And I know we know nothing about the third-string quarterback. And by the way, it's Oladokun. Oladokun. I looked up the pronunciation. Yeah, La and Kun. Oladokun. And I can never say it unless I'm looking at it. But Chris Oladokun, South Carolina State. I think it was South Carolina, drafted by the Steelers in 21, never played for him. Was on the roster finally last year for the Chiefs. Never threw a pass, of course, as you said, until last week. Was okay. Averaged like 7 yards a pass. So, when you're playing an ugly dog like this, you're looking for a catalyst. Maybe he plays well, right? So I don't like betting on maybes. That's why it's not a best bet for me. But I would lean towards the Chiefs. And this is something I did not point out in the video. I'm releasing it first time with you here on this show. Thought about this the next day, and I should have mentioned it. Chiefs were -4 at Denver like a month ago. Now, we'd all agree that wasn't the correct line. They shouldn't have been a 4-point road favorite. But still, a month ago, they're -4 on the road. Now they're +13 at home. That's a 17-point difference. Denver and KC have strong home fields. Let's just give them 2 points each. That gets it up to a 21-point difference in the line in 1 month. The only thing that's really changed, and I know Kansas City should not have been laying 4. I get that. But the only thing that's really changed is that their quarterback is out.
Well, and they're eliminated.
Correct. But everyone else is still playing. As you said, Kelsey might be extra motivated. Mahomes and Minshew are not worth 21 points. And once again, the line would be like +4, +5 probably now if they're playing at Denver. But still, we're talking about a 2 to 3 touchdown adjustment in 1 month. And I know the Chiefs are a hard team to back, but last week was the first time they'd only lost by more than 10 points all season. I know it's one of the worst teams in the league. It's not a great example. The Broncos, I believe, have won by more than 10 points only twice all season, and they have 12 wins.
They do not win by margin.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. The only way I could play this is Kansas City plus the 13.5. As far as the other 2 games, would have liked to see Mariota healthy. Did not expect him to go. He is not going. Josh Johnson has not thrown a touchdown in 4 years. He's a man. He's 38 or 39. He's been playing since 08. So if you're going to play the over there, which I would have liked, instead of 50.5, maybe you look at Cowboys team total over, first half over. Andy Lang, Dan Alexander Monday had a great stat. Cowboys first halves in all their games this year is 14-1 to the over.
Wow.
But here again, there's uncertainty with the Commanders. So how about a first half team total over? How do you like that?
I like that.
So I'm going to pull that up for you right now. I looked at it the other day, but there weren't a lot of them out there. So the game total is 50.5. Cowboy team total was 27.5, which I like, but now it's like 28.5, 30.5, right? So that you're losing some key number. But then take their first half team total, it's 14.5 to 15.5. You're losing 14, but hey, they get to 17. Cowboy first half team total over. And then I know Prez said Minnesota. I'm not in a hurry to lay a touchdown with a struggling team like the Lions, but the Lions are the only way I played. It was -6 when I did the video. Now it's 7.5, 8. So not a lot of value left. Teasers aren't a great play anymore in the NFL because you got to lay a lot of juice. But Dallas at 8.5, Detroit at 7.5, 8, taking them both down to 2.5 would make a good 6-point teaser if you want some action in those games. And Kansas City taking them from 13.5 up to 19.5 or 20.5 with a 7-point teaser, teasing the total up to 44. I would not be against the Chiefs and under teaser in the late game. So you do have some teaser options here on Thursday.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we definitely gave people a lot of options for today in this NFL and NBA slate. Steve Merril, what are you promoting today? Anything good?
So we got the NFL video up there for a deep dive into these 3 games. My Friday video just went live for all 3 college bowl games tomorrow. I have done every college bowl game, and I will continue to do every college bowl game through the championship, all the playoffs as well. Also, both Saturday NFL games are going to release soon. More quarterback drama there with the Ravens and Packers, Chargers, Texans. And don't forget also 8 bowl games Saturday. So I did the 3 games for tomorrow, Friday. I'm about to record it right now. I guess I'll wear the Santa shirt one more time, even though that's going to be a December 27th. I've got it on. I'll knock it out here.
Until the new year.
I don't know. I mean, it's people think I don't wash this thing. It's not like I'm sweating during the videos. I don't wear this.
If it brings luck, then tell people it brings luck.
Well, we'll see. I don't know how these games have done in the recent videos here, right? I mean, it's like we were off to a 6-0 bowl start, and then I think we missed the games on Tuesday. So I started seeing some comments that the shirt is bad luck. I'm like, well, the shirt wasn't bad luck last week when we crushed it. So we'll see. I think I'll wear it one more, but there's 8 bowl games Saturday. And I asked the production team, should I split them up, do 4 and 4? And they're like, no, do 8 like you did in March Madness. I was like, yeah, man, it's March Madness for college football Saturday. So
that's true.
Yeah, click subscribe, click the bell here on WagerTalk TV. You'll never miss out. Thumbs up, like, comment below, and you can follow me on X and Instagram also at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril. And by the way, Ariel, on the way out, before I lose my voice, I do have one NBA best bet, a strong client best bet, and I'm going to post a bonus free play as well. So go to my page, WagerTalk.com, Steve Merril, WT.buzz/SM.
Make sure to check it out over at Steve Merril. He's been absolutely crushing it. Steve Merril rhymes with Farrell. Thanks so much, Steve. And just so everyone knows, there is one incentive today that could pay you a lot of money if it hits. It is a doozy. It is tough. I might have to play it because I played it last week, and I feel like I have to play it until it hopefully cashes. The wide receiver for the Chiefs, Hollywood Brown, needs one more touchdown to make $750,000 in his contract incentive. Without Gardner Minshew, it's going to be tough. I bet it last week at 4-1. Today, it's 9-1. I know next week's matchup against Vegas is a better one for Hollywood to get a touchdown. They suck. The Broncos have been really good against wide receivers. But if you want a really nice payout, put $100 down on a 9-1 anytime touchdown in the last home game of the season at Arrowhead for Hollywood Brown. I've got other props also. I have them on thepropqueen.com right now, so you can check those out. My long list of props for today. Storylines, matchups, you name it. We've got it all covered there. Good luck to all of your bets today, everybody. We will see you on WagerTalk's last call for me on Sunday, breaking down the entire NFL slate with the normal Sunday crew. For Prez, Steve Merril, I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. It was great to see you all. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.